Well, coming up on today's show, the Tesla Model 3 US deliveries for January are down, but that's because rest of the world, global deliveries have begun. Toyota have a slow start to the year as well, and we find out why. Tesla's CCS adapter coming to the Model S and the Model X, so you can use those CCS chargers. Some confusion around that, and Mercedes-Benz have a new electric minivan, the EQV. Those stories and more on today's EV News Daily podcast. It's Monday, the 4th of February. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. In fact, wherever you're listening around the world, thank you for tuning in today. My name is Martyn Lee. I've been through every EV story I can find today, picked out the best ones to try and save you time. I know you are stacked busy. And so hopefully in a little podcast, we can get you everything you need to know without you spending hours surfing at EV blogs. Thank you to myev.com for helping make this show. It's the world's first marketplace about electric vehicles for buying and selling, and a totally free marketplace too. It's really simple to do it. And you can learn about EVs along the way as well. Only in the USA, it's myev.com. I wish we had something like that here. A quick follow-up then to a story last week about a cheap Chinese SUV coming to the UK, coming to European markets actually. The big question that we've asked for a while is when these cheaper Chinese electric vehicles come to where you live, would you buy one? Presuming you're listening to the podcast not in China. Or would you stick with the brands and the names that you know? Well, MG is a brand that's been around for a very long time, but this is kind of one of those ones where the brand was bought and sold off. So it's the badge, it's the logo, but it's not really the DNA of MG sports cars. But still, they are going to sell them in the UK from September, electric SUVs, and there was a very little fanfare last week, but I was sent a YouTube video about this from one of the podcast listeners in Chinese, and it was made here in the UK at the unveiling event. Had about 25 views on this YouTube video when I had a look at this. But again, not speaking Chinese, I could watch it and appreciate it, but then David, who listened to this podcast, David Emeny, now him and his partner do speak Chinese, and so I sent him the link. He had a couple of views of it, sent me his highlights. So he says that some of the highlights from this road test review by the Chinese reporter, some of them say some of the best bits: loads of room inside, big SUV, USB ports for charging, 44 kilowatt hour battery, 44.5 kilowatt hour battery with a higher energy density than the batteries used in the new Leaf. That makes a lighter battery in a lighter car. It's in fact lighter than the Leaf, but with a big SUV body on it. The battery has a good BMS, according to this Chinese video. Liquid cooled and heated, and it's good for winter driving and charging speeds. He says the direct translation is this: the drivetrain has a hairpin rotary system. I can't even begin to decipher that, but that's the direct translation for what the reporter said. But basically, good for power, good for efficiency. 6.5 hours for a full charge, but I don't know on what speed that they are talking about. Couple of drive modes, eco mode and sport mode, and 3 levels of regen. It's got S-pedal. Now, S-pedal is like one pedal driving. When you lift off the accelerator, the brake lights come on and you do slow down. I don't know if you can slow down to a complete stop, but it is that one pedal driving experience that you get in EVs. Acceleration is good, 0 to 62 miles an hour or 0 to 100 kph in around 8 seconds. That's pretty prompt, actually, for a big SUV. Last month, the petrol version of the car sold 18,000 units. Wow. 18,000 units of the petrol version, making it the 6th best-selling SUV in China. So the manufacturer has confidence the electric version will sell well. What we've seen of the car, the price may be more than ordinary people expect. In Europe, it'll be in the same price bracket as the Leaf and the e-Golf. So how it sells in China will depend a lot on how they price it over here. Right, that's David's thoughts. Thank you very much, David. Little follow-up on last week's podcast. So, I don't know if I was expecting the first proper Chinese current generation EV to be sold in Europe, UK. No news about America, but you never know. I thought it might be dirt cheap, but by the sounds of it, they are not going to price it crazy low. I guess we'll find out nearer the time. On sale in September, they say. And of course, will have passed all of the most stringent European safety regulation tests as well, which is always worth pointing out if they're going to make an EV for this market. I'm curious. I'm really curious about cheaper Chinese cars going up against the incumbents. I'm just fascinated by it. See if it happens or not, and what people will do. Would you buy one? Let me know. You can always email the show, hello@evnewsdaily.com. Let's talk sales figures. The first week of February this week, first full week anyway, and InsideEVs are estimating that the January Tesla Model 3 sales numbers, the expected result of shifting to overseas, is seen in our estimates, they say. That doesn't imply that demand for the Model 3 has fallen. In fact, demand abroad is so high, it's finally being fulfilled now. So on the US side, that slip in January's numbers was always going to be inevitable. Our estimates show that the Tesla Model 3 was delivered more than 6,500 times to US buyers in the month of January. That's down considerably from the latter months of 2018, but it's way up year on year. But then again, those year on year figures are huge. As for the Leaf, how will the announcement of the upcoming 62 kilowatt hour Leaf E Plus impact deliveries? Well, they're bleak in the US for January, just 717. It's always difficult when a new model's been announced but isn't yet on sale. Do people then wait to have a look at the pricing of the new one and to make their mind up? It's always a tough position to be in when you've got a forthcoming car and then people hold off on buying the existing one. The new Leaf 62 kilowatt hours, though, the Nissan Leaf has always been the more affordable end of the spectrum, and it's starting to get up into that kind of territory of, well, if I'm going to spend this much, do I just push the boat out and get a Tesla Model 3? That's interesting price bracket that it starts to go into. How are Toyota doing? Not a good January. Toyota, which of course is a machine. I mean, that Toyota sales figure number is just ginormous. So they always sell so many cars, but January wasn't so good, down 7.1% on the North American side as compared to January 2018. Lexus isn't far behind. They're down 2.8% on the month, reports Jalopnik. Most of the losses are led by aging models, by the way. The newer models doing well. The aging models, like the Prius, are where they're really suffering. So they go two stories back to back there from early movers in the EV space, where there was lots of love, certainly for the Toyota Prius a while ago, before pure EVs kind of really took over, and also for the Nissan Leaf as well. There was so much love for those early movers in the market, and yet those are the ones which seem to, and if I'm being unfair, let me know, they seem to be falling out of favour. Is that unfair? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. I'm happy to be wrong if you have a different opinion. Well, moving on to Tesla and some confusion around a story over the weekend about the CCS connectors, the CCS combo plug here in Europe, of course, which the Model 3 comes with. Just like in China, they come with the Chinese GBT plug. Here in Europe, you're going to get the CCS combo plug on the Model 3s. But what about the adapters for the Model S and the Model X? Starting this month, Tesla, so said the story, was including a new CCS adapter with all new Model S and Model X orders in Europe, so that you could take advantage of the growing CCS fast charging network here in Europe, according to their website. So reported Electrek. Then they had to update their story because Tesla responded saying that the update on their website was inaccurate and it will not be standard. And it was unclear about whether it would even be available as an accessory. Well, Tesla updated its charging connector support page here in Europe. The change was clear to show that the new CCS adapter will be standard. They said standard on all orders, custom orders for S and X vehicles from February 1. But then an update came from Tesla to Electrek to say it was a mistake on their part. It will not be standard. But surely you can still get the adapter, but maybe you just pay more. We'll follow the story and let you know. Little confusion there. Mercedes-Benz is unveiling an electric MPV concept at this year's Geneva Motor Show, where more and more EVs are getting now confirmed for reveal, previewing a rival machine to the forthcoming VW ID Buzz van. Reports Autocar, well, confirmed at the launch of the facelifted V-Class MPV. It's a new concept. It's called the EQV. And it's pure electric, and it's a near-series study. So yeah, it's a concept car. It's going to be closely mirroring the production version, though. It's the fifth confirmed vehicle in Mercedes' electric EQ range, following the EQC that launched not so long ago. The forthcoming EQA hatchback. The EQB is going to be a small SUV, and the EQS is going to be the luxury saloon. Those models, along with the EQV for van, are all going to be on sale by 2022. Mercedes-Benz Van's board member, Wilfried Porth, described the EQV as the firm's next big statement. in the class. Mercedes-Benz vans already offer the electric eVito and will launch the eSprinter in 2019. The eVito is based on the architecture of the regular van, really about last-mile deliveries and suited to urban use. It's powered by 3 lithium-ion batteries with a 41.4 kilowatt-hour capacity, and it's got a 113 brake horsepower motor, a range of 93 miles. I'll put a link to the Autocar story in the show notes if you want to read more. Hey, this is some good news. More than 30 global corporate companies have now pledged to switch their road fleets to EVs through a new initiative called EV100. It set a target of electrifying 2 million vehicles by 2030 through its membership, according to Michael Holder for Business Green. We'll publish today the Climate Group's first annual report on its EV100 initiative has revealed this. 31 companies with a combined revenue of $500 billion have now made a firm EV commitment as part of the campaign, including high-profile names: BT, British Telecom, IKEA, Unilever, EDF, Heathrow Airport, amongst them. The report provides a detailed update on the commitments made by 23 member companies, which have together pledged to switch 145,000 vehicles to electric. They're doing that in 66 markets around the world by 2030. I know that's 11 years away, but this is all positive news. Collectively, the EV commitments from those firms could save an estimated 6.6 million tons, 6.6 million metric tons of CO2, the equivalent carbon footprint of 1.9 million households, according to the report. I'll put a full link to Business Green in the show notes. Now, finally, to VW. And Michael Yost is the head of strategy at VW, and he said officially that in 2023, the company will have introduced a truly affordable electric car, which starts at less than €20,000. That's $22,900. It's going to be a small car, the size of the T-Roc, and it could be described as a compact crossover utility. There's a coming together of various segments. The compact crossover utility, says Mark Kane at InsideEVs. The MEB platform and the ID Range family are part of the VW electric offensive, and they're investing €30 billion by 2023 when this car is going to be ready. Now, by 2025, the VW Group brands altogether plan to increase the number of the all-electric cars from 6 today to more than 50. The floodgates are about to open. Now, Michael Yost, also head of the group product strategy, says that the EVs are by no means synonymous with sacrifice. He says we build cool electric cars that are fun to drive, beautifully designed and fully networked. He says we build them. I mean, what he means is we will be building them. I'm not being pernickety, but he says we build cool electric cars. Well, I mean, the e-Golf is pretty cool. But you will be building. So it's not so much in present tense. Anyway, moving on. He notes that starting in 2023, or the latest the following year, the electric car will be on sale for less than €20,000. What kind of range can you expect for a small city car if it came with 125. Let's go bigger. If it came with 150 miles, what with improvements in battery chemistry and engineering efficiency, better software, better drivetrain technology in the next 4 years, 150 miles, would that be enough for a small urban city car that could charge quickly but wouldn't be big enough to have a big battery, for instance, even with improvements that are coming? Would that be enough? 150 miles? Let me know. You can comment on any of the stories anytime you want to. But particularly, let me know your thoughts on our question of the week. And it's this, set by myev.com, brand new question as of yesterday. And it's this: which incentives, beside those already available where you live, do you want to see implemented by car makers and dealers to promote EVs? Have a think about that. Which incentives, apart from the ones already available where you live, would you like to see from automakers and dealers to help promote EVs? You can email me anytime. The email address is hello@evnewsdaily.com. That is hello@evnewsdaily.com. You can leave a comment in the comments section of myev.com, also YouTube and Facebook as well. Thank you to 178 patrons of the podcast. Well, the website says 176. because when they try to do the payment processing at the beginning of the month and someone's card has to be retried, it goes down. But anyway, it's 178. I'm not forgetting anyone, don't worry. By the way, I think Patreon are having some issues at the moment. I've had some emails from people trying to sign up to support the show, saying they were getting an error page. And also I can see that I logged in earlier and not all of this month's supporters have been processed yet. So I think Patreon have got some issues with a third-party supplier. Panic not. Try again as they get those problems fixed. There are 377 previous shows online for you to download anytime for free. They're in the archive if you want to get them. You can subscribe for new ones so you get them first and free and automatically. And if you can leave a little review at some time, that would be amazing. And let other people know about this show. Come say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow.